Right. Yeah, I'm not gonna have the starting stream. I'm just enjoying chatting, so y'all can just like look at this. I'm thinking about changing the PNGs. Ugh. Right. There it is. Um, yeah, I have some games that I've started and then never finished. I still enjoy them, but I figure, hey, this is a good time to finish them. I'm totally not ignoring my RemPie projects that I said I would finish. Absolutely not. No. Yeah, no, I think I got frustrated because I was fighting with the screen language for some, and some of them were point and click. And I could have just, you know, the plug and play things that already set up, but apparently I didn't want to do that because I'm lazy. Well, I'm not really lazy, it's just I had already started and it was just, I'm gonna see it through. Yeah, dumb me. Very, very dumb. Ha ha ha. Anyways, right, I have the game open. I just got distracted. So let's go over to the game. I finished Grun on the stream yesterday, and to my surprise, it said, oh yeah, it only recorded 30 minutes. And then stream was like, yeah, you've been streaming for 2 hours. And I went, whoa. Oh, Twitch really flubbed that. Twitch super flubbed it. Anyways, I should get the commands so that y'all have it. Yeah. 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 So, this is my 100% valid mining game in which I mine rocks like that one Pokemon minigame that I still really, really miss. Because I remember playing this game and going, yeah, I was craving this game. And wanted to sell rocks. I think there was this one Pokemon minigame back then when I actually liked Nintendo and stuff. I mean, I still kind of do. It's just I have a love-hate relationship with them right now. It's sort of like when you start loving Disney when you're a kid, stuff, and then Disney pulls moves that you as an adult are now like aware of in an unfortunate degree. You're like, ooh, that's super unfortunate to know. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's not that I ever dislike the games themselves, but I definitely don't like certain corpo moves that are made. And there are just some things where I kind of am like, not at the financial point of my life, regardless of if I can afford it or not. It's just like, do I really want to spend money right now to get a game now during this time, or what? That's stuff I ask myself. And then at some point I started looking for a bunch of indie games, and now I have like an extensive list of indie games that I could just play to scratch certain niches. I do sometimes miss games, like old ones, so the ones that I actually own. So every now and then I'll crack that open, which does include like old Pokemon games, and the other day I was just like playing this. The one where now I can't remember what generation anymore. And my knowledge is very bad. And now I'm starting to become those old people. Like, yeah, what do we call them? Masquerade? Tuxedo Mask? No. There are days where I'm very sad about letting go of some childhood things, but then I realize I could just have a healthier relationship with it. Because I don't think childhood things are meant to be idolized and free of their, faults. I think it's specifically because they're faulty that makes them fun. Because if it was a perfect story, I don't think we would have, had things to revisit and reflect upon. No. Stories are entertaining and imperfect and elicit feelings of frustration and joy. Like, deeper the frustration, sometimes deeper the joy and stuff, right? And sometimes the deeper the everything else, really. I also turned off the timer on this one because I really didn't want to stress while playing this game. Know how time just moves, and then you have to open the shop, and then really, really, really annoying. Yeah, so I turned it off and put it in cozy mode and made my life easier because I just want to punch some rocks. Wanted to punch some rocks. And I wanted to clean the rocks. And I wanted to say, yeah, look at my shiny rocks that you can absolutely buy. As long as I don't crack them. Should upgrade everything. Especially the drill. The drill has been saving my butt in this game for a while. What was I on? I was... Oh, don't look at me. Epic grade stone. Anyways, yeah. So, I like excavation games. There's also a game that's mobile called Digseum. Gosh, there's a lot of games that I will tolerate more so on mobile than on, PC. There is a significant difference in which, things I will tolerate on my phone versus on my computer. I tolerate everything, it's just, I will turn my brain off more for phone things. It doesn't need an amazing story, just a fun repeat gameplay loop, and just enough free resources for me to tolerate the ads. The amount of ridiculous phone game ads I've gone through is to a point where I can probably recite to you, which game this phone, ad is talking about. Almost from the get-go. Instantly I'll see it and I'll be like, yeah, it's for this game. Yeah, it's for that game. And then I'll just be like, yeah, oh, golly gee. Oh. I don't touch those pillars because if you hit them too hard, the entire, this thing just collapses. And I'm like, no, no. I wouldn't want to have that for any reason. That sounds bad. Okay, where is the artifact? Do I have to donk everything? Donk. Okay. There we go. One epic. Every time I see the word epic, I'm going to be so honest, I think about K-pop. And I say this because as someone born Korean, K-pop was a really strange phenomenon for me. Because I suddenly had more people interested in my culture. So, talk about that. It's uncommon, I don't care. Anyways, to talk about that, we have to go into the fact that when people saw anything different, their first instinct as a kid was to kind of be a jerk about it. And I say this as in the 90s, both internet and in person were wild. Absolutely wild, somewhat unhinged. People would say the meanest things and then call it satire. Or they would say the meanest things and then say it's their brand of humor, and I just kind of sit here and go, I don't think that's really something you should be proudly saying to someone. Like, I understand there are dry people, but at least they're not, you know, trying to get a laugh out of your pain. Like, the preferences I have when it comes to that is kind of like... It almost low-key feels like people are trying to have you participate in a kink that you didn't agree to, and sometimes that's just one of those, very, very unfortunate for people who do have kinks who are, like, very consent-based, that they're kind of being lumped with that, but it's kind of like, I need to get rid of that. No one saw that. No one saw what I just did. Anyways, yeah, so I don't really like participating in people's weird bullying game for the sake of humor and then told to let it go. Because if I'm sensitive about stuff, I'm sensitive about stuff. And it's not unnecessarily so, it's just kind of like, yeah. Like, it's nothing to be ashamed of if you have, like, an open wound or a sore tooth and someone, like, pokes those things. And you're like, what the... Why are you doing this? Like, that hurts. And then people are like, oh, don't be so sensitive. And I'm like, it ain't your open wound. What are you talking about? Like, you're not the one with, like, a bleeding sore tooth. And, like, emotional wounds are like that. Now, like, if someone says, why are you so sensitive? I'm like, well, first of all, have you looked at me? Second of all, have you looked at how it hurts? Like, dang, dude. Like, I think once I kind of just, like, looked at my friend who was told that once. And I was like, don't do it, because they got mad. And I have some friends that have, like, really short tempers. Love them to bits, but holy. And what happened is that around that time, my friend had recently transitioned, right? And we have things to say about certain communities we're a part. Well, we're considered a part of, but not really a part of. And one of them is that there's like groups within that community that will, you know, put people at odds with poor people. Really lightly use terms that should not be used. Like, okay, where do I put that? Someone is gonna come with brimstone and pitchforks at me, but among the trans community, there are some people who will use being trans as an opt-out for non-trans issues. You will call them out for being very disrespectful to people's boundaries and very entitled to someone else's time and energy. And some of them will take a very unrelated thing and go, so you're phobic, right? And I'm just like, it's such an out there thing to say when someone is genuinely calling you out for behavior like inviting themselves into your hangouts and spaces, your friends. It's a lot. Not what I wanted. Oh. That's bad. Not gonna take that crack gem. Yeah, I just like to talk about it because it is now the void. I am talkative. I'm chatty. It's great. Will I save this VOD? Yeah, I'll save this VOD. I'm fine. Because I've come to accept that I just, you know, I like chatting into the void. Anyways, yeah, there's like an understanding in my friends. We do consider ourselves trans, but like different ways of celebrating it. I'm gender fluid, and apparently some people have issues with that. When I say some people, I mean like people I've directly met. I don't know for the general populace. I don't care if you're like, not me. I'm just like, what matters to me is my direct experience with people like that. If it's not you, good for you, but that's not what I'm looking for, nor is that what I really care for right now. What I care for is sharing the experience of being someone who has to do that. And I don't really like being lumped with the people who try to take advantage of that to not be held accountable for unrelated things. Like, people aren't being phobic just because they don't want to hang out with you, just because they don't want you in their spaces. There are some people who will do that, and I'm sorry if you're experiencing that, but that, if it's like an avid and like consent-based issue of like, hey, can you please not introduce yourself into the space where I like being safe with my friends and I really want to hang out with people without that being hijacked with whatever topic you have, and you're not really established friends with someone, that's a fair assessment to make. Like, there's a lot of layers to why people don't want to hang out with you, and one of them could also just be you're not the correct social companion for this crowd. You're not the person people were looking to hang out with, because there is a specific friend that they wanted to hang out with after not seeing them for 5 years, and having that ruined by someone that they don't even know, or that person who just really, really wants to take their attention. That's fair. Not great to not talk about it, but it's fair. If you don't want to, and not everyone's equipped to, like, express themselves. So, with that said, I'm just kind of like, shrugs. Very big shrugs. Anyways, my friend got kind of mad because after his transition, he kind of responded to a certain kind of joke in front of him, in front of, like, with some friends that tried to just say he was probably not having it that day. And he said, hey, can you guys not, like, joke about that? I don't want those jokes anymore. And the response was not, oh, sorry, dude. The response was not, like, understanding. It was literally, why are you so sensitive? And I went, oh. So, I had to hold back from kicking our mutual friend in the nuts. It's a very surreal experience. Because I was like, don't do that. No, don't do that. Because I sort of understand this friend from years of being their friend. And when you will not be doing these gestures because it is the equivalent of slapping someone's ovaries. But their ovaries are outside of their body, and that is painful. You already, you experience that months at a time. You don't want to give people, like, anything to that experience. And he was understandably mad, but not mad enough for me to go, you should enact violence and potential almost murder on someone we know. Also, I was just kind of thinking, because during that conversation it got real ugly, and I had to just straight up ask, is it worth a joke to poke at someone where they're actually kind of hurt? That's, you know, like, being asked, hey, that's not cool. And your response is, you're too sensitive? It's kind of like, let's talk about it instead. Before saying you're too sensitive, at least have a basis of that. Like, someone just directly asking you in a very level-headed manner, hey, don't make those jokes, is not being too sensitive. It's like, it's the reaction that matters. If someone's like crying, begging, and then saying that you murdered their children, or like something of an extreme equivalent that isn't open to discussion, then you can probably say that. Especially, like, I can understand why some people will defensively respond that way, because in response we've had a lot of people that just react to, oh, you're making those jokes, you're so-and-so. It's like, no, I don't think they are, but I don't think it's appropriate either. I think it really depends on who you're hanging out with, too. Some people are okay with those jokes, other people are just laughing as a response to it. We all gotta be very careful. Anyways, with that said, my friend, like, straight up mid-holding them back when the other friend was, like, going, what is your problem? My friend was like, what, are you sensitive there? And I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. Neither of you are in the right. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. Like, I know that it's great for, what, those clever little blogger posts and maybe Tumblr quotes, but I think, like, at some point, you read so much of it that you just kind of soak in too much being that much of a jackass, so I think there's, like, some room for jackassery. You can be, like, selectively jackass, but, like, sometimes if you're drenched in it, it's like, have more joy in your life. Have more joy in your life. Like, balance it out. Balance it out. Anyways, yeah. I shouldn't be saying that because right after we all kind of just PvP'd each other, but I think that's just, sometimes we just kind of start giving each other noogies, and then those noogies just turn into wrangling, and those wrangling becomes kind of like how wolf cubs fight each other. It's that group of friends where I like them a lot because I grew up with them. They saved my life quite a few times. And I'm not really all that afraid of tiptoeing around them physically, specifically because we're a little bit of a roughhouser. But they can't do that with their girlfriends, because their girlfriends are kind of like soft. Soft and cute. I think they really do have a preference for soft and cute. And then there's, like, me who wrangles them. It's not like I'm buff or anything, I just don't mind it. It's not even like we don't view you as... Really, they kinda do, they kinda don't. It really depends on how I'm dressed when I come and meet them. I think they're all still getting used to the whole fluidity thing, which means that I present very differently regardless of all of that, so it took them a while to get over it and used to it, and it took me a while to get comfortable with it. Yeah. What was I rambling about? Oh, yes, I understand, like, the sensitivity thing. But, like, I think it, you know, the consideration should be, like, what is the situation, and what did you do, and why are people saying this to you? Not automatically go, the other person is wrong because I'm trans or gay or anything like that. It's definitely becoming a bit of a problem. Because it's sometimes like... strangers don't owe you their time. It's true. But if you want to exist in a community space and if you want to exist in a reasonable space, there is some courtesy that must be given. It doesn't mean they're phobic, it just means that they're just really not being courteous when they're trying to get fresh with a stranger. Of course, some people do it because they're phobic, and other people do it because they think it's a shortcut. Because some people register humor as a shortcut to... How do I put... being... close? Like, I don't think necessarily a marker of close proximity when you are constantly picking at someone's insecurities. I really think people should think back on that. Because our level of tolerance for another person should not be the marker. It's just like, what am I willing to do? What am I willing to go out of my way for with you? What's worth it? Okay. Mr. Sharkman. I quite love early payment. Oh god. Bird bone. I'll do that later. I have a massive debt in this game to pay off. Okay, stronger hammer. What's this? Rep. Do that. Okay. Anyways, yes. Ramblers. Rambling. There we go. Since I have made a payment, save the energy. Have my sleep. Need some debt. Okay. What's your market prediction, Master Onyx? Alright. Well, I just want to go to the mines. Oh, the mine cart is already here. Okay, time to... I may have done a boo-boo. Nope, I didn't. Lots of onyx. I guess it's a good mining day. Anyways, world issues aside, let's talk about some stuff that's been on my mind. Okay, so... I woke up this morning, right? And, like, recently, because of Squeakcross, I've been becoming a little more rat-centered. Like, I've been thinking about rats. Like, how many rats can fit into a thing? And then I went, well, it depends on the relative size of the rat. Like, is the rat the size of my fist, or are they, like, bigger than that? Depends on how well you feed the rat. And then I had to really think about, what's the ideal rat size for me? Now, like, how big and small do I want this rat? Like, if I want a small rat, then that might be mice. That's not a rat. So, I went, well, smaller doesn't always mean better. I kind of just like rats. And I went, okay, but, like, how many rats can fit inside a pillowcase? How many rats will fit inside this pan? How many rats will I fit in, I don't know, my mouth? I think only one, really. Not that I really want to, but that also reminds me of the time Shrek just like fried rats on a stick. And then I went, huh, that kind of looks good, but I know that's going to be disgusting. But it doesn't make me any less curious. I mean, how many rats can you fit? Right, so, rats in the pillowcase. I thought about it, and it also depends on the pillowcase, right? Like, how many pillowcases do I have, and how big are they, and how fat is my head? Because some pillowcases are small. So I went standard pillowcase and rat the size of my fist. And the conclusion that I came up with is a sort of poorly fluffed pillowcase would be like 10 swarming rats, which is kind of nasty to think about, but entertaining nevertheless. And then it kind of evolved. It evolved into one of those, okay, let's see how many rats I can imagine fitting, like, into a bag. Maybe a standard, like, Chipotle bag or something, right? And I went, okay, how many rats can I fit in there? Cracked it. Ugh. Get rid of it. I don't want cracked gems. I don't want cracked gems. Did I just not crack you? Okay, so I know one of you is cracked, right? No? Yeah, I was probably hallucinating a little bit. Of course, I could also go back in the recording and go, yeah, you weren't hallucinating. Love that for me. Right, so, where was I? My rat campaign. Right, so, anyways, theoretically, no, not theoretically, I'm not going to use science terms because this is just my crackpot, like, ideas. So, I was thinking, in concept, if I had a Chipotle bag right now, how many rats could I fit in it, right? And the problem with that is that it also was dependent on the Chipotle bag order. Are we talking about the salsa with chips bag, or are we talking about, like, other stuff? And then I was like, okay, let's start with the salsa bag. Maybe, like, 3? I would say 2, because it's kind of a tight fit for a fist-sized rat. And they need some swarm space, and then I went, well, first of all, fitting them in the bag isn't really good, because they're not gonna have much swarm space. They might start biting each other. Which I went, oh no. Oh no, that doesn't sound like a good idea. And then I went, maybe just one in a Chipotle salsa bag. But yeah, I also, like, asked myself several questions about, I'm gonna ignore that. No one saw that. Anyways, right, so, Chipotle salsa bag. Rat, 1, 2 or 3. 2 or 3 if I really wanted to squish them in. Agnostic, why did I say that? Alternative. Right. So. Then I went, well, what if I had a rat pack? You know, like, a pack of rats. Rats. Oh, I need to shut up. Except I can't. I'm a little too entertained. Into the bag. Thank you. A bigger bag, actually. If are we? Right, so anyways, if I had like a crew of rats, right? I also was wondering, what would I name these rats? Like, you know, I would name the rats a lot of things. But then I went, you like a name? What if I just said rat and then they all like collectively come to me like a hive mind? And then I went, no, I think it would be cute because what if I don't want to have rat and rat wear the same outfit? What if I want them to wear different hats? Like Top Hat Rat and the Gentleman. I should actually give them names based on like archetypes. Because it would sound cool in the moment, so when I write a story, it'll be like, yeah, I have a rat called the Gentleman. I did that. It was a rare one too. 7, so that's 4 more. Well, it'll be fine. Right, so what was I talking about? Oh. Yes. Anyways, I want a pack of rats and I want them to all be kind of like, you know, chill with each other. It would be really, really cool if I could just have a horde of rats and they just follow me around kind of like baby ducks. But this is what happens when I start getting really fond of an animal from a game. Is that sometimes, every now and then, something inside of me will just start going, yeah, I need rid of them right now, and then I forget about it. Although chickens are forever. Chickens are forever. Well, chickens, roosters, chicks, and hens. Those are forever. I would like a whole horde of them. I would like to gather them all up, and I would like to hold them in my arms, and I would like them to be in a little sling bag. But I can't do the maintenance because I am a very, schedule? Timing? Not that I can't care for animals. I think it's just more of like my schedule in general would not let me do that. I say that as if I don't take care of a very active dog and have been taking care of dogs. So, then again, chickens and dogs are very different. Chicken like a dog. No, rescue chickens. Not be crossing those things. Their little dog in the background is also barking as if to confirm my beautiful, credentials. He goes, yeah, they feed me, he takes me for walks, he makes sure that I eat my medicine and doesn't yak it up like a little brat. Even though he really hates that protein powder. Love that little dog. Dog. Bit Barkley. Oh. Very Barkmeister, you know? There's 2 uncommon. I'm not touching that. Okay. Back to the Future. Very weird movie. Clean them. Collecting already. Okay. Anyways, yeah. One thing about streaming is that sometimes I will actually go back and watch whatever I did, and then listen to whatever I did. Go, wow, I don't remember saying any of this stuff. Which is very strange of a phenomenon. I presume that just happens in different modes. There's very few streams I remember. I like to chalk it up to bad memory, but there are times where I remember a lot of things very clearly. Like any stream that Gira attends, I remember 100%. And I assume that's because I'm partner pilled. I should never say that. Actually, I should stop saying stuff like that. I'm not of that generation. Like, I'm from pre-2010s internet, I'm not doing that. Because, you know, post-2010 internet, I have opinions about, and it's kind of like, no, that's too easy, that's so easy, it's so easy to piss off people from, like, after 2010s, because a lot of education about some good things came up, and a lot of bad things also came up. I think people overuse certain phrases to make it seem like they're morally good, when it kind of talks more about cognitive rigidity rather than being a good person, which I think is kind of like, okay, yeah, no. Wow, I am saying a lot, and I never used to say it so much. Whatever. Let's see. What am I seeing? I am saying stuff, but I don't like... Oh. Yes. Anyways, everyone watch me MLB, like, forget all of this the next day. I will literally forget. I will absolutely just go, yeah, I don't remember shh. I think it's also just... I feel very out of my element here, and it's interesting. As a kid, I didn't really get along with a lot of my peers. I'm not saying I was particularly mature, even though a lot of people kept saying, you're so mature. And then I adopted that into a weird lexicon until I just completely outgrew it and went, oh, no, that's weird. But when I say weird, it really depends on your, like, social group. Is that considered weird or normal? And it's like, well, if people that you like hanging out with say this thing, sometimes it takes a while for you to learn, hey, that's weird. Maybe this isn't for me. And I think people need to be a little more understanding of those that come later. Because you don't come automatically salved up as an adult. So, yeah, I know about all of this. You have to actually go out to different groups and go, what sings with me the most? This is actually not... I'd hate to say normal. I hate to say normal. Normalcy depends on, again, your social group. You know, like, you'll have a social group that's full of offensive jokes, and then you'll have a social group full of people who you need to be tender and gentle with, and you gain different things. You gain different things from each of them. Time, place, location, all depends. People are complicated, and it's best not to treat them like they're just another, checkbox on the checkbox list. Otherwise, what happens is you become a checkbox on the checkbox list, and then you're not going to have the quote-unquote authenticity that you're looking for. Sometimes you're just here for a good time, and sometimes people want you as a quota. I'm having a good time with my friends, and I'm like... Name any of them? And you, like, say you've had a one-on-one conversation that has encompassed a very level of depth. You can also say no and still be friends with someone. It's just... Don't expect to be, you know, to the level that you think close proximity is, because, again, everybody has different ones, but you're unlikely to find that on someone you only talk to in a group chat format. Hi, Kira! I'm just talking about lots of things. I was talking about how, like, social situations differ, and that normalcy and, like, normalcy and what's considered weird and not really depends on your social groups, and sometimes it becomes, oh, artifact. It becomes completely outdated when you are with a bunch of, like, people who are absolutely, you know, some people will go, yeah, let's do offensive jokes 24/7 about every other person that isn't me, and, you know, if you live with that for years, that becomes your normal. But then if you live with, like, a group of people who are, like, extremely mindful, but also very sensitive about certain topics and you just don't talk about it, that also becomes your normal. And learning to adjust to different people's flows and normals in social settings is a skill you do have to pick up. That comes with another skill called mindfulness. So I was just rambling about that because I feel like, when I talk to certain people where it's really clear that they don't go out of their way to talk to different crowds, they keep making out all these... Yeah, you do. You're excellent at it. It doesn't change who you are. I think that's just a part of you being mindful and not being like to... You know, like, we have different levels of asshole we're allowed to be with certain people. And I think that's healthy to sort of gauge, how vulnerable we also are with certain crowds. Like, being vulnerable with everybody does mean that you invite some problems. Just as being mean to everybody also invites problems. We have to gauge based on who we're talking to. And I feel like a lot of people have come across those sorts that, and going like, socializing is hard. And I'm like, yeah, socializing is hard, but what part of it? Because sometimes it doesn't feel like people actually try to go out of their way to socialize past what's convenient for them. Like, some people actually get social scenes that drop into their lap, and they still say socializing is hard, and I try not to say that is a skill issue, and I am sorry. I try very hard not to say it, because I have been told that is rude. And I'm like, I should be less rude. This is the less fortunate. And I'm like, I shouldn't. I can't. It's so obtuse sometimes. I'm like, these people make it so easy. They make it so easy to pick on them. Like, I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say it. I want to say it, but I shouldn't say it. It makes me very upset. I'm being, you know, restrained. Our dog is barking again. It's just, I feel so constrained because, here's the thing, people demand honesty all the time. They go, I would just like you to be honest, and like, this is why I don't demand honesty. A lot of people can't handle honesty. It's like different flavors of honesty, matters. Now, different flavors of it. You have to be able to take honesty and... Oh, cool. Yay. More upgrades. Woohoo. Anyways, what deduction? I have made the minimum. Aha. Okay, so the upcoming payment will be that. I'll be able to it. I'm thinking, do I want to purchase that or not? Step in your step. Automatically refines a single gem. I'm into that. Yeah, I'm into that. Right, so. Anyways, it does sometimes bug me when I come across people that go socializing is hard, but they don't bother to check, the situation. So they just automatically think, so if I just, like, come into here, right, and I invade people's spaces, and I don't even try to, like, you know, lightly say, oh, I'm interested in what you have to say, fellow human companion, then it's kind of like, yeah, you're very likely showing that you don't actually care about anybody in there. And, like, I don't want to talk to people who don't care about, like, what I have to say about, let's say, the weather or minuscule topics. Like, if they just want to get into the meat of what I'm about and my vulnerabilities, I'm just kind of like, you are not actually here to socialize. You are here to info farm. And not a lot of people like to be spied on like that. Some people are very open to, at a glance, you know, vulnerable whatever dealings. That's fine, but you have to be able to gauge who's open to that. Like, who's open to talking about your special interest, who's open to doing that. I know that some people would like to interact with others, but I really think one of the things that I find a problem with is that, do you want to socialize or do you want to be taken care of and looked after by a bunch of adults? Like, do you want someone to hold your hand as you try to figure out how to engage in the conversation? And when someone is busy looking after another person, it is very hard for them to talk and socialize for what they're looking for. And asking people to do that in specific settings is it's a bit much. I think it's a bit much. Because if talking is overwhelming for one person's brain, imagine talking and taking care of someone else. Like, it doesn't fulfill the same thing and needs. It just doesn't. It actually can be very difficult to do, like, point A and B. Like, let's say you're at a mixer or a party that people want to date, and you're not really there to date. You're kind of just there to social grind. You're like, I want friends! And it's like, that's not the setting where you look for it. Like, my condolences if you want social spaces. You have to gauge where you're going. So, like, for some people that's clear, but I think you also have to look at, okay, what environment was this person in? How often have they gone out to talk to other people? How many times are they the ones initiating conversations? Yeah, exactly. Being in a social group is trying to build a relationship with someone. And when people fail to understand that as a minimum requirement of that element, of course, yeah, like, exactly. And that's, like, perfectly fine. You have to sort of, romance is such an interesting thing because I think it's a personal preferencing of what you call it. Yeah, it's definitely, like, things get really complicated after a while. I think the issue is, like, a lot of people want social situations and romance even by then, because to fit into a predictable and easy bracket, you know, no risk, no harm. The thing is, socializing itself, there's always a risk. People don't really like that, but there's always a risk. You know, there's a risk of losing. Risk of, Yeah, I was talking about that earlier while I was, venting about stuff. I don't remember what I was venting about, though. But yeah, this was a game that oh yeah, the risk of being vulnerable. And, like, you know, I don't think it's fair if someone is going into a social situation and expecting vulnerability from people who aren't getting any of that from you. Like, yes, it's a very big step to go in first and say, hey. Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like they're trying to also gauge you. People pay attention in return. Oh my god, Gira, no, 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 no more hurt for Gira. Well, you know, you and I have very foolhardy, brave things. It's not that we go in because it's easy and it's riskless. I think it's more of to be social is not to be thoughtlessly stupid as an adult. No, I think you've definitely gotten better. I think over the years that I've known you, you've actually established who you can yap about certain things about and who you can't, and what needs to be kept to yourself. Yeah. Like, I think socializing means that you're more open to, well, you have to be a little more open to being wrong. Or maybe not necessarily wrong, but you can start out right, and then the situation can change that makes your information obsolete. And I think a lot of people have a hard time with that. Like, especially with people they don't like. Will be like, yes, it was true at the time, but it is no longer true. Or, this was true with the information I was provided, and it is no longer true. Oh yeah. People yeah, like, I wish to be wrong when it comes to people I don't like, because I would like to have so much wrong information that I don't have an opinion anymore. Like, other than what is true in this event is that they hurt me. And it is also true that I never want to see these people again. And what is also true is anything could change, but I will stop. Hee. Hits him. Hits it. I should hit the wood board. Nah, I shouldn't. I'm trying my best. This is uncommon. I'm gonna show you what it looks like to hit the wood. Love you, darling. Anyways. Oh, it just exists. It's been in the way. At least I'm not cracking the gems. Cracking the gems, I'm like, I would just abandon it. I would just leave the gems. The gems have, unfortunately, been ruined because of me. I'm gonna see what else is around. Oh, right. So I was talking about the Diamond and Pearl minigame. I wish they brought that back in future Pokemon games. I'm not gonna lie, I really do. Like, okay, so I was talking about how, I had to let go of, I always, like, every now and then bring up Nintendo, and I go, yeah, I like games, but I don't like the corpo decisions they make. I dislike corpo decisions that are made. Especially with regard to the newer Pokemon games. That's one of my issues with them. I have issues. So many of them. Yeah, it's like, I like concepts that are being tossed around. I like exploring. I like the spirit of game dev. Oh! Did you at least disinfect it? How many spaces? Oh, yeah. Ooh. It peeled itself. You're like, how dare you? Kira, no! Don't do that. Don't do that. Why would you do that? Stop that. Quit that. Right, what was I talking about? Oh, yes. So, social things, social dynamics, and all of that. The reason why I'm venting a little bit about it, or like, not really venting, I think I'm just talking about it, is because I think I'm starting to get to a point in my experience where it's fine if it's a client talking to me about not socializing. It's less fine when it's in my off time because I turn off my therapist brain and I hear it from like people approaching my age and even like young 20s. I think at some point I've become viscerally incompatible with a lot of young 20s complaints. Yeah, it's just I'm not a big fan of revisiting the anxiety thing that I outgrew. Oh, dude, I feel it. I feel that. It's a lot. And the thing is, at some point, there are just some people that I know I'm not compatible with based on how they talk about other people that they've never met. Yeah, I don't really like tonal whiplash. I think I'm lucky with my current group of friends now. And I think we're lucky with each other that we try to remain a bit consistent about people. Because I don't really like being disappointed so much. I don't think it's fun being that disappointed with a repeat issue after the third time. And after a certain level. I think it's like... No, it's perfectly fair to say that, yeah. Yeah... Feels a little like Stockholm Syndrome. It's like, oh, I can't do this. My gosh, they sell for more glimmer. I'm so proud. Oh yeah. I love artifacts. I love this game and I love wiping these things. They're part of artifacts. I didn't know it was gonna be a teddy bear, actually. I could show you the artifact cabinet. Here, I love whenever you're here because I actually do chatter more. I like talking about things. But usually I'm very quiet and then I'm like... Yeah, that's it, folks! That's alright. I was rambling to myself because I went, you should go to- Oh yes, you do go to the workshop. You work very hard. It's also, I keep doing it in the mornings when you're asleep. So that might be on me. And I don't stream consistently enough to have a community that will chatterbox with me. Like, I sometimes think, yeah, it would be nice to have people to chatter with. Yeah, I often do it during your work times. My scheduling is so off. I did finish my coding work. I was doing some Ren'Py game stuff and doing game dev, and then I kind of... Yeah. Anyways, I like talking to you. Hee hee hee. But... Oh. Ignore that. My gem is now cracked. Not the rock, I'm so mad. Because it's a ruby too, it's even worse. I can't just toss it. Yeah, maybe. It's like the headphones, right? Yeah. I mean, at least I have closed captions, so, like, they appear in green, but... Right, So, yeah, it does bug me when certain people that I'm supposed to be, like, close to start talking about my friend group, because I realize that, my friend group is, like, very receptive to new people when you meet them organically. Oh yeah. And, like, a lot of people I think are, like, receptive to, like, new people entering groups, and they're psyched out by clicks, which I understand. You know, social rejection can be higher if you don't have history with, a bunch of people. But I also think, like, psyching yourself out from even saying hello and treating them normally and then getting weird idolatry stuff going on starts to... Oh, a new ruby. Awesome. starts to get weird for the people involved. It gets super weird for the people involved. So I just kind of go, are you really looking at them as people, or are we being viewed as museum artifacts? Yeah. I'm like, I don't know about a lot of people, but I'm not really... Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of being treated like I'm from a museum, or that I'm a literal predator in a cage. Oh yeah, I mean, like, sometimes people find that endearing, but, like, the problem I see is when it's consistently across the board, people get weird about it. And it's like, yeah, lots of people... And then there are those that do want the weird parasocial celebrity to fans relationship, and you can sort of sense that from that crowd, and it's like, no, get me out of here. I'm like, shakes my cage bars. I start going and pacing around my enclosure and going, no, I don't really want to do that. I don't like that. Very, very specifically, don't like that. Yeah. Well, you and I talk, like, what, nearly every day? Even though, like, I know that I could technically fuck off for months and weeks, but I usually tell you. Oh yeah, no. I know that you don't get weird about new people. I mean, like, well, weird definably as in, like, museum piece on a pedestal weird. That, I think the endearing kind of weird is the one where they're talking about their rock collection, and then they're looking at my face for approval, and I'm just kind of like, well, I like rocks. Or maybe I don't like rocks, and I get that, you know, I would like that no to be accepted. Oh yeah, like, you know, I think it's kind of cute when people talk about their special interests in a weird, like, parallel playing. Yeah, I have mixed feelings because I think it depends on who's out. So, most of the time, I'm okay with people being that level of weird with me. Because it's like, it's your rocks, and I'm interested in your rocks. I think it's also because I've been to the gem fair, so people will just straight up talk about their rocks. Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. I think, like, on some days, you're okay with that, because... I think that's on them. I think when it comes to being psyched out, I think that has to, like... Yeah, no, don't. It's not good to foster that type of expectation, like... Yes, you can respond immediately, but people should also do their own work and go, well, everybody has days. Like, what if you expended yourself from talking to 10 different people every day, which... I think you talk to, like, 10 different people every day, and on a work day that doubles. I think that would be tiring to do for a week. And I think people should be understanding that you have break days and vacation days. Oh yeah, you talk to so many people. Not only that, you don't just talk to them. You, like, remember what they like. It's like, your brain is already full. Social introvert or, low energy extrovert, who knows, man. Love you too, Gira. You know my opinion and stance on that. Honestly, at the end of the day, regardless of what I have to say, I really don't mind what you choose, but I always like giving you options. Yeah. Oh yeah, the loan shark. Yeah, there is a literal loan shark. He collects my loans for my 100,000 loans, like Tom Nook. I haven't finished the game because that's... Where's the Morganite? Oh, there's my Morganite. I need to get the cracked ruby. You will be taking my default cracked ruby. You will not be having my nice ruby. Because screw you, that's why. Anyways. Right, so... Yes. What was I... Where is it? There it is. But yeah, I just think, you know, in general, people should be a little more flexible to social changes. Specifically because people change. People are one of the most weirdly fluid entities that you can encounter on any given day. And, like, if you don't give people, like, the time and energy to adjust to a situation, especially if they're in a... What is that? Why are you cursed? No, why are you cursed? Please, I'm scared. Oh. Got it. Why? Oh. Oh, why would you introduce that mechanic? I didn't know. That's the first time I've ever seen that mechanic. I was like, what are you talking about? Why do we have... Can't believe we have that. They're trying to bring down my... Yes, okay. Let's see. Aquamarine. They're so evil. Yeah, worm with a shoe. You go, I'm my own dad. That one just said, I'm my own dad. I'm like... Oh, Grandmama's calling. I'm so rich for now. Can't believe you called me a whale. My god. Oh, LOL. Grandma's just like, I have done things. I want to see if I can get a bag upgrade, or do I want a drill upgrade? Do I want either one? No. Day 16. I have made big profit. Big profit, good. Big profit make me happy. Okay, let's see. Peridot. Do I just open the shop? I'll just open the shop. I have plenty. Peridot, dot, 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 dot. Okay, there we go. But yeah, oh man, not a stinky. Anyways, right, so... Yeah, it's kind of like I also... Oh, Alexandrite, I have those. But anyways, we're talking about, like, people who, you know, psych themselves out from socializing with anybody is because it kind of happened where I was talking with a pal, and, like, this is the kind of friend that, you know, has a lot of anxiety, and usually I'm not the one listening, that's someone else that's listening. I go, okay, or not, yeah. And they kept saying that they didn't really feel like they had friends, and I was like, you realize that a lot of people are trying to cater to that anxiety of yours, and I get it, but it's also kind of like, starts to feel like they're using the group as a replacement therapist, and I was like, please stop. This is not healthy for any of you. Ugh. And then they started talking about them like they were these other creatures they just couldn't understand. My god, it's the pet rock. Oh. Praxis, okay. Your pet rock from home. That is talking on the phone with you. Good pet rock, but a funny pet rock. Any money. Much money. Desire that. Can't believe I bought all the upgrades. I've made such profit, and then I have taken away profit. See. We're going down. Stay. Okay. Yeah, this is a very fun game. I would recommend it if you're ever craving that one mining game in Diamond and Pearl. Because I was craving it super hard. So I'd sometimes open up this game to play. I have so many puzzle games. Thinking about it, I should really play some of those games on stream, but I keep doing I don't feel like it. And I think it's because some of my games do in fact lag when OBS is open. I had to uninstall Meld Studio though, because I realized that with its new update, it's basically made streaming like I'm unable to stream with it. It keeps cutting off my stuff and then it was really annoying. I was like thinking about whether I want to do really contemplating the whole I want to stream me opening up Ren'Py. Look at that. Don't look at that at all. I didn't crack that. But yeah, I'm thinking after I'm satisfied and I've itched the itch that I was itching for, I might just like, I either open a co-working app and we all just stare at it while I type my code, or we all literally look at Visual Studio Code as I work and see that it's mostly just typing in the script and not really doing the coding and then copy pasting things. It's fine. I understand you want to code, and you keep saying you don't have time, but I also kind of low-key think you do. Just not time for extensive, coding, you know? It's also like, I think technically if you were fine with not doing it all at once, you could still get a project out. Look at what I just did. I didn't crack that. I didn't do that. At least it's common, so I could get rid of it. I can't help it. It's in the way of my hammering. See? In the way. Faster. Faster! See? Much faster. I think it would have given you a nightmare to see, like, the early stages of me hammering things. It was very bad. It was so bad when I was doing it. I was like, yeah, I'm bad to the bone. Anyways, yeah, so I think it's just because I'm used to opening my projects on and off, so I get the preliminary, like, boilerplate templates of whatever I want to do. You love me. You'll still be here for me as I crack rocks. But yeah, I think the thing is, the reason why I'm fast at coding is because I do enough projects that over the last, what, 10 years of doing it, I have templates for, like, most project types, which means that I don't really need to make new things anymore. Because, you know, the efficiency is like, if you've already made it before, save the code and apply it for a later thing, and then learn to Frankenstein it, and then you never have to deal with that again. I need to stop that. I need to actually, like, drill that one. Yeah, it's kind of like, it wasn't for, like, Visual Studio Code recently making me mad, but... Oh yeah, it's fine. I'll teach you how to effectively, like, do it. I have code snippets. It's like stuff that Zoo and I talk about, because Zoo and I are coding buddies, right? Which means that I don't give any answers. Yeah, it's fun having a coding buddy, but I don't like coding buddies that, like, force me to go, okay, how do you do this? And then I'm like, I'm gonna give you tutorials, and I'm gonna give you resources, but I'm gonna teach you how to problem solve, because if you start doing it that way, that's gonna be marginally harder to, create your own thing in the future. Like, it's how you get into tutorial hell. It's also how I, like, explore game dev stuff, yeah. I think with object-oriented programming, it's better to just do. Rather than... Oh, crack that. Don't look at me. I didn't do that. It was my evil twin. It was, well, actually, in this situation, it can technically be that. I think... I also should get my protein bar so I can... Well, my chocolate bar, chocolate protein. Protein. I don't get the shakes from low blood sugar. Okay. Oh, I got some hours. Anyways, right, so... My refined gems table. Somewhere. That's fun. I'm gonna let that run. Yeah. I mean, you know, sometimes it takes a lot of trial and error, and it also depends on what you, put it under. That's why experimenting with lots of different environments is also kind of ideal when you're a coder. Because then you'll understand, oh yeah, this will work if I do it locally, but this won't work if I don't have a website that supports PHP environment and stuff. Oh, yeah, no, I can actually directly help you with that one. You see, it does kind of require rewiring your brain a little bit, which, coming from a psych major, crazy stuff to say. You have different brain modes for different situations. So, I think it's just more of, so sometimes I don't do tutorials. Sometimes I take a project and I tear it apart, like demolition and stuff. So I like to demolish a project and then break it and then see where it breaks. That's why you have me going through like 50 different templates. Because the funny part is, templates actually show you more in how things are broken. Okay, why are you under that? Yeah, and like, you're very, very talented when it comes to that. Very intelligent. I'm very proud of you. Um, with that said, I do think it would be somewhat ideal for you to find ongoing projects, and then you and I can tear them apart together. Because it is funny. Really, that's just my brand of humor. I just like to see what ticks and how people do it. And then, like, I think it's just because I have Noah as a coding friend. So what happens is that we don't test each other, but we hand each other things, and then we break something in the code just because we can. Which sounds crazy. Yeah. I'm also gonna tell you the crazy thing. I wasn't good at doing whatever me and Noah did. I wasn't good at it. Like, I was horrible at it. I would get stuck, and then Noah would go lol skill issue, and then, like, expect me to, like, fix it. And then I would just kind of sit there, like, you know those lions that throw their cubs off the cliff? Yeah, that was basically Noah when I was first learning. He just straight up once... God, have I ever told you about the messenger video call system? The very first time he was teaching me how to do shit. What happened was that he sent me a code, right? Very complicated. I had just learned CSS around that time. This was like more than 10 years ago. And that nightmare of a man. It's fine, I understand. I'll do it with you. But yeah, so what's been happening is that Noah just straight up went, you need to figure out this code, and I'm like, okay, but how do I do this? And they're like, here's some hints, and then gave me the languages that he used, and then the library. I looked at it like, I zoned out completely. And then he told me that I had a week, or else he's gonna give me a harder project. And I was like, why would you do this to me? And then he, like, dangled, like, these very expensive books, because, as you know, the whole reason why I started, like, coding is a very stupid reason. Oh yeah, I understand. I'm so distracting. Anyways, oh yeah, I think it's, actually, I'm not sure why it's smoother. Usually it's, like, clunky and crotchety. Well, actually, it might be the game. Probably a test of which game is optimized. Oh yeah, yeah. Or it could just be different times of days. It is the evening. Not a lot of people are using it in the evening in a retired neighborhood, because a lot of people around, like, this area is very retired people. Retired rich people, actually. Which does include some parts of my family. Whereas where I usually live, it's less retired people and a lot of young suburbia. We'll work on it. You and I will work on it. I mean, like, you know, I'm on my way. You're actually just getting started. You know, you and I made those plans, and it hasn't even been, like, what, 10 years? You're fine. You're fine. No, Gira, you're not. You're not. You also have to remember, some investments definitely take at least 10 years before, seeing the results of things. You're just getting started. You're also just learning. I think it's also because you're just learning how to be financially, like, less anxious. Because, you know, you and I have talked about this. We've talked about this. The entire financial anxiety is learned as a result of your environment and the people around you, and sometimes that just kind of, yeah, very shiny. And it kind of results in you having a very messed up relationship with money, which can unfortunately be tied to survival, which also unfortunately gets tied into all sorts of other things. You know, psychology. Things that you learn when you talk to enough poor and rich people, and then middle class people in between. Everybody's relationship with money is different depending on how scarce or, like, abundant the resource is. At least you're pricing better. I remember when you first talked to me about those plushie prices, and I was like, why are you like this? Why would you do this to me? Yeah, I'm glad you're not in that time period. That was not good. That was very bad. Very yabai. Don't do that. I say this with, yeah, at least you're doing stuff for you. Like, I think the nice requirement in life is that play is actually a human need, and there are now studies on it. But just like every other human need, if you overindulge in one or the other, it's going to be, like, kind of yabai for you. Yeah, I know. I mean, to be fair, we've already talked about the stresses in your life. That's reasonable. Yeah, it's good. I was getting worried about you for a second. The acid reflux with acidity in your teeth will be pretty bad. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the loss of weight. If anything, as long as you're not in the 10s, then it's good. Yeah, well, at least we got to the root of how to calm some of that at the dentist. You know, holding the vacuum tool. Who knew? Who knew that would actually help? We also got to the root of why it was there. It was kind of like, I don't think it was necessarily the whatever, it was what happened at school. Anyways, you're making strides. You're quite literally undoing years of trauma. Like, we do have to be reasonable with you, Gira. You're literally undoing so many years of it. That's rhodolite. That's amethyst. I could also haggle people into, like, actually buying other things. Why are you trying to buy the cheapest stuff, dude? Yeah, have I ever talked about my time at the gem fair? I literally felt like I had become a crow in that second. Like, oh my gosh, I'm a crow. Take my cracked Morganite. Yeah, and I understand, but I'm also like, cheap stuff within reason. Like, I like quality things more than I like cheap, because quality things last longer for me. I think it just has to do with, like, if I'm gonna spend like hundreds of dollars on boots that will last quite literally forever, then I'll take it. But if it's like a rock, yeah, I understand. Unless I'm an avid collector, at that point it's a luxury. This is also true. You know, you can technically get shiny just by using resin projects. And that would be, I think, marginally cheaper than whatever happened at the gem fair. Yeah, I totally get it. I understand. Oh my gosh, my emeralds are all the way up here. Why can't I just... Oh yeah, yeah. I think the thing is the gem fair has made me appreciate presentation so much more. Those rocks. There's a shark. Okay. Bye-bye, shark. Yeah, my business is doing great. Let's see what payment I could offer. Okay. Look at my... Look here. It's much. It's not even me. It's like, okay, so over the time, Grandma went on vacation, and she had that much debt. And I'm like, that is crazy. That's too crazy for me. So Grandma was crazy for this. Jim's mining spot, or I want. Thinking really hard about this. I want to be faster. This is hard. 2 per spot, yes. Oh, if I want. You want this convenience. You should get... Actually, I could get the game for you. I'll make a note of it. Because it's a game I'd say it's worth it. I'd say you would definitely play it. Lole looks at you. Please let me spoil you. You can play many, many games. Yes, it is single player. It is also very relaxing as a single player game. Oh, yeah, I understand. That is also true. But you know, if you ever decide to get the game, you're more than welcome to, like, ask. Because it is a very fun and relaxing game in which this is one of the few games in which I can ramble. I think this and Dorf Romantic, which I haven't played in a while. I play a lot of... Yay! I'm glad. I also, like, contemplated if I wanted to, like, stream today, because my mood to stream is on and off. This is why I don't have a community. I think, one, because I'm very ambivalent to, satisfying, online people. Unless it's, like, at my pace. Because I am the consumer, I am not the consumed. But also, like... I don't know, half the time I'm already talking to our friends. I think, like... Oh, yeah! Yeah, that's funny. Oh, we were supposed to set up in server those alerts. Because I think I've been... Well, then again, SM and Sudo stream in the mornings, and during that time, I think I'm hard at work. Because most of my clients are in the morning meetings as of recent, so it's kind of like, oh. I kind of miss their streams. Not gonna lie. I like listening to Pseudo stream. Yes, please stream again. When will you stream? Didn't you get a new computer? Yeah, you can draw Demon Sisters, or didn't you have, like, a camera for, like, tailoring and people could watch you, like, do tailoring stuff? Like, for a while, you had that going on. Yeah, like, I remember... Oh, yeah, true, that is also true. When you feel like going back to it, that's more than, you know. Oh yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. Stop doing that. I need to stop doing that. Anyways, yeah, it's just like... Yeah, you should go for it. I think it would be fun. It would be fun to watch you. Yeah, yeah, and maybe like, you know, you could also do, I don't know, after Demon Sisters, there's also the Caterpillar book. You're more than welcome to do that, which would involve whether or not you want active feedback while you're drawing it. Yeah, that's fine. Like, it'd be faster than, like, sending me the sketch drafts and then going, is this good? And then waiting for my lengthy paragraph feedback on, here's the structure of this, here's the structure of that, we can go in this direction. It would be... Don't look at that. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, I really don't mind. Don't look at me! He didn't do... Oopsies. Yeah, things are cracking. Like, I think, like, we've entered a point in our relationship where you know that I'm chill with a no. Like, you and I have said no to each other more times. Actually, I don't remember. I just know that we have a record of no's. And, like, they're very comfortable no's. They're like, no, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to hang out. No, I don't want to do that. And yes, I want to hang out. Yes, I want to do this. So, no. And neither of us have a history of, from a single no, having rejection sensitivity. That I'm thankful for. I'm really thankful for it, because that becomes a bit, yeah, we don't have a history of doing that. So, you know, we have a back and forth, we have a, am I in the mood for this, am I in the mood for that? Yeah, you can kind of just tell me, but it's not going to be a result of, like, over time, me saying no about stuff. Yeah. Honestly, whenever you're soggy, cuddling is just perfectly fine. Yeah, I mean, like, I think if it's feedback, feedback can also just wait for a better day. You know, like, how you and I bookmark things. Because I do know that whenever you're soggy, we always have a hit or miss. There's always a hit or miss with that one. It's like, how soggy are we talking? Kind of soggy. Especially, like, on those days where, if you're super sensitive about your style and art and stuff. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, if you're super sensitive about your art and your style and what direction you're going, I probably wouldn't even, like, give you feedback on those days. I know how it gets. Yeah. Hmm? You are also style swapping, and anytime I hit a new style, it's often hard to. Because you have to get uncomfortable. Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is, you can still do that. I think the thing is, you just need to learn how to do the style swap mode thing. Oh, like, ah, yes, I'm swapping modes. Oh yeah, let me peek at Discord. The Discord, since I had it closed to the stream. Dude. I love that. I bet your friend is like going, you are the best, you're amazing. I hope you're getting lots of praise for it. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember. So glad that you're having friends that you enjoy your fictional stuff with. Very cute. It is nice to have friends that are, like, just as crazy about a thing as you. I do that. Yes, I did. Oh god. Once saw the crack. Actually, I can just toss that. I don't need to take this. Yeah, you did! You did, and I'm like, yay! Transitioning your online friends into your offline friends. I'm always happy whenever that happens. No, I think you're fine. You're meeting in a public place. You're not necessarily meeting in a place where it's easy to kidnap people, like... You know, you've been to Japan multiple times, too. You're not exactly going over there to live and... Yeah, but that's okay. You know? Well, Google Translate or some other learning app, I think it, like, you could also prepare cards. You could prepare, like, pre-mediated cards of going, hey, how are you? I don't really speak enough, but, like, I wanted to, you know, hang out. Because that's what I did with, another friend. I need to stop that. I need to stop that. My bane of my banes. There we go. That it's on every floor, so I don't have to think hard about it whenever my stuff is full. Alright, so... You're meeting one of your new friends. Well, sort of friends, I'm not sure. You should definitely... Yes, I'm gonna crack that rock. I'm gonna ignore that rock. I cracked it. It's ruined forever for me. Yeah, I'll see you on Discord. I think I'll just keep rambling to myself about stuff like how many rats can I train to fetch rocks for me now. I'm being very, very rat-centric. So yes, anyways, as I'm playing this game, I'm thinking to myself, wow, how many rats can actually, like, you know, be trained to dig for gems like this? Really thinking about it, like, what if I had a horde of rats? They're really good at digging, right? And they're really good at sniffing things, too. So then, what if I just kind of sent them into the mines, right? And had them dig for me. And then I asked them to get me, like, these nice shiny rocks. Like, give me the rocks, right? How many rats would I have to train to be extremely effective for this task? Like, I'm not talking about one rat, maybe, like, 5? I assume 5 would be a good number. But you never know about that. Like, what if I had 5 rats do my bidding? That would be nice. 5 rats, yes. I wonder how long I'm gonna play this game. I have to go to eat. At least the drill is better. Now then. Just keep talking about rats. I can't stop thinking about rats. Rats in general. I think it would be conducive and best for my mental health if I solve this. Whatever rats in there. I should just write in a generator a simulation of every possible theory that I'm thinking about when it comes to rats, and then have rat experts correct me. You know, just release it into the wild and go, rat experts, you correct me, please. No, actually, I don't really want to engage with a rat community of the internet. Oh. Big funny community. Ugh. Oh. That is not a good idea, actually. Because when it comes to cutesy communities, I sometimes see the most toxic adults I've ever met in my life in there, and I'm just kind of like, maybe I don't want to do that. But maybe that's just me having several bad experiences and generalizing it and, you know, not wanting to encounter that bad experience again, so it's better to just... Oh, Actually, no, if there's like 5 people in the bunny community, different groups that do it, maybe I want to. Like cat people. Maybe it's just animal people in general. We'll see. We shall see how that goes. I love vicariously playing types of games. Not vicariously, I mean, I like playing these games and having a vicarious experience of lining up rocks through whatever is going on here. Whatever's going on here, I'd love it. Back myself. Okay, let's refine what gems we're gonna refine. One. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Now, have I run out of topics to talk about? No, I haven't, so... I don't have a lot of rat facts. I think we have to play Squeak Cross for that, and I don't feel like opening that because as of recent, whenever I play that game, my wrist has been hurting, and I think that's just a me issue. Whenever I'm playing games, I should be stretching! Oh! Wolf indeed. Right. Oh, it would be nice if I should just share whatever news I learned about today on stream at random. Just call it the news feed. Or nothing fancy, just a very simple coffee table thing where I'll just open it and go, what's on today's news? What has Google recommended for me? Ew, not this stuff. Because a lot of news that I read is not really doom and gloom. It's more like science, technology, what has advanced, cancer things. Ooh, I get a free hit from that. Okay, after we do this round, why don't we pause to look at what news I'm gonna look at today and then import over? Because I think having random fun science news in the interim would be interesting. For me. Not really for stream, but for me. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I like the little shiny thing. The little joys in life. I have a alternating thing of things that easily please me and distract me from the dramatics of what life has to present, and then things that do not please me that distracts me from the little things that I like. I also think about how music design works in some games. I'm a big fan of it, but not always the best at remembering it, so sometimes I look that up and go, ah, it's in my notes. Memorize things, I take sheets in it. Alright, let's see. I just have a lot of projects on my mind, and some days I do have the time and energy, and some days I don't, because I separate that with whether I'm drawing and doing time-consuming hobbies, or whether I'm playing with my friends, and sometimes drawing encompasses game dev. Sometimes game dev, as a solo developer, means that unless I no-life it, and ignore my friends for weeks to months, yeah, it may take me more than half the year to a year to finish a game. Because it's just like, I love my friends, you know, it's just like, I have this idea that I want to play, and then the game is interrupted midway of, your friend wants to hang out with you, and I'm just like... Okay. Or I want to hang out with friends. I want to hang out with... I have 3 people that are consistently around that I do in fact invite, and they invite me, and because it's a mutual thing, it just ends up being an endless cycle of like this positive energy where I'm just going, hey, I'm cared for and liked, and if they go off to succeed and do big life things and move around, then I'm happy. I'm always just happy. And then they come back and they choose to spend time with me, and I'm like, yay! Very entertaining for me. Yes. We incline towards those things. Me, my, me. Just as fun as going into the comment section of manga and sometimes interacting with the really crazy people in there, because it is enjoyable to be pretend crazy. Well, not really pretend crazy, we're all a little. Either way. Having a good time. Superstar, na fire. Tree. A lot of gems. Wow, I'm almost done with them. And then I should really get something to eat, or else my shakes will come back. Of course, I did sufficiently eat enough carbs earlier, so I shouldn't have too bad of a shake if it comes. But I should really start preparing things and cooking and taking care of myself. Of course, I also took my vitamin D pills, so that might also be. Because I do feel myself getting hungry, but I don't feel the shakes right now, and feeling the shakes and lightheadedness is not pleasant when that happens, so it might just be a vitamin D deficiency thing. Kind of love that we have a tumbler here that does that. Right, anyways. New trend of psychoeducation coming in. Well, it's always been a trend, but like, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I think it's great that people are being more well-informed. I always talk about that. I just wish they wouldn't like the obnoxious nerds that the bullies want to put blockers. And I'm not saying right, but like sometimes people lord over others with their knowledge, and that makes people feel a certain way. And no, like the perspective of if a nerd is minding their own business, then yeah, alone. But if a nerd is like causing emotional damage for who knows why are you causing emotional damage? And I'm just kind of like, oh, it becomes a physical versus emotional violence issue. And I go, like that come up. I don't know, I've been reading a lot more stories, and in the midst of all those stories, it makes me think about critical thinking of what if this situation were to be that? What if I were to expand upon it? Because I've already lived growing up with one story being told, but not necessarily having the full story of why would you do this? And having people simplify it, and I'm like, excuse me, have you lived it? I mean, yes, you can speculate, but saying it like it's a definitive answer isn't really the solution. I think about that. Well, I kind of go, oh no. Oh no. Road a light. I like the sounds of gems. I like the sounds that they make. I like the names. They implement. It sounds cute. Sort of like a kingdom type of deal. Ah, yes. Look at all of... My gosh, that's funny. Oh, it's funny. These little interactions are adorable. Let's see. What do I want? I want deeper mines. Better hammer. Bats. This. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Payment is coming on. Have my character. I like to dig. Oh, right. I was supposed to pause here. Give me a moment. I'm gonna go get. Okay, I'm back. Hmm. Okay, let's open up Firefox and see the news. Okay, where's my science news? I was just like, and assuring, like all good are do, because I do love Gira. I love all three of my platonic partners. It's just Gira is the one I talk to the most, so if you're like trying to get a hold of me and you can't, usually your best bet is to like check in with Gira first, because chances are I've probably informed Gira. Of course, like, I would normally say Minnow. Problem is Minnow kind of disappears for months. Because he's a traveling journalist. I'm like, that partner of mine likes to come and go like a whirlwind, so whenever I say I'm going out, it's like he's here for like maybe 3 days max, and then he has to go off somewhere. Of course, I'm not gonna say where, what city, but I know that he's currently like part of Europe that I really want to go to. And I'm actually absolutely jealous and I'm mad. Not really, but usually if something physically were to happen to me, you would usually get a contact from Gira. I mean, not Gira, Minnow. Otherwise, there's also my sister. Right, science news. So what's on ScienceDaily.com? Let's open that for a second. Let's ignore my game and let's open my browser. What's going on in my browser? Right, I don't remember what is stupid. That one. Did I not set up a source for that? Okay, I didn't. Okay, window capture and browser key. There we go. Let's change that. How do I transform you? Hit to screen. Perfect. I just need you to go below the chicken, please. Yeah, way below the chicken. Okay, thank you for not going below the chicken, apparently. Gosh, okay. Hmm. I don't need it to be this big, actually. We're gonna look inside. Going to use your imagination to fill in the blanks of what exactly is on this page. Now, what are we looking at today? Giant red auroras over Japan. Scientists discover towering red auroras. Very giant planet with surprisingly Earth-like temperatures. Hey, I'm interested in that. Childhood junk food may rewire the brain for life. I'm cooked. Experts say these 5 myths are blame, bad at languages. Zombie sales aren't always bad, and they could transform anti-aging medicine. Brain damage, narwhal waves, aesthetics. Where are the prosthetic stuff? Charge failure, gut healing, Dementirus. Where's my good news? Oh, there we go. Stuff that I'm absolutely interested in. Okay, let's go over each of them. Yeah, this is what I do in my off time. This is like James Webb discovers a rare giant planet with surprisingly Earth-like temperatures. Let's see, they were using NASA's James Webb Space Telescope to unveil a real world unlike anything in our solar system, about the size of Saturn, Earth-like temperatures, atmosphere packed with methane. They call it TOI 199b, and it sits more than 330 light years away. One of the first known temperate gas giants ever studied in detail. So this is an artist's impression of it. Um, let's see. So, I should just link this as I'm reading it so all of you can read it with me. See, so any giant exoplanets discovered beyond our solar systems are hot Jupiters, so quote unquote hot Jupiters. So these are worlds that circle very close to their stars and reach like super hot temperatures of thousands of degrees. Basically, we'd become pudding on these planets. And this one falls somewhere in between. One of only a small number of known temperate giant planets, researchers say this is the first time the atmosphere of one has been studied in such detail. Okay. Hmm. So, plates will orbit roughly every 100 days, around 175 degrees Fahrenheit. That's still pretty hot. That's really hot. I would not. I would die. Um, Still cooler than thousands of temperatures, so it's like, okay. For comparison, temperatures inside parked cars sitting in direct sunlight can easily climb. Really? Ew. Oh, that's horrible. Okay. Wow. Let's see what else we got here. So, lots of jargon, lots of stuff. Journal reference. Let's see who wrote this, actually. I want to see. So it's apparently from Penn State, but who is the person who wrote this? Because unless you're talking about collectively they published it, Aaron Bello, which is the main one, and everyone else who. All right, let's check. Let's check what you have to say in that article. See what kind of um are you, Aaron? Postdoctoral fellow at NASA. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, legit. You never know. Always look up your sources, folks. Childhood junk food may rewire your brain for life. Okay, so the summary of this one is that eating too much junk food early in life may rewire the brain in ways that last into adulthood. Even after switching to a healthier diet, scientists found that high fat, high sugar diets changed feeding behavior and disrupted appetite control regions in the brain. Excitingly, certain gut-friendly bacteria and prebiotic fibers appeared to help undo some of the damage. Okay, let's see. So children who regularly eat high-fat, high-sugar foods may experience lasting changes in the brain that continue long after their diets improve. Let's see. Well, there is a lot of high-processed foods. This is correct. Um, Constant exposure may shape food preferences from an early age and encourage eating habits that continue in adulthood. Brain changes. Early exposure to calorie-dense, nutrient-poor foods. So they did use mouse models, and animals exposed to that show persistent change. As adults, disrupts in the hypothalamus, so the brain region responsible for regulating appetite and energy balance. Let's go to Google so I can actually like show you where the hypothalamus is. So these images, I not today. I'm going to get the first one because it looks very much like basic stuff. Okay, so we're gonna open that image in a new tab because I like to talk a moment. We are going to persist with this image. We're going to persist. So, hypothalamus, like that little area right here, if you can even see it based on like where my mouse is. If you can't, it looks like the little almond that's under the blue and purple curves, thalamus. And like so I could talk about what each brain thing does because again that is stupid major. Even though like neuroscience and like psychology touches upon it and then talks about neuroscience is something that I am also studying on. It's interesting. You already know that each region serves a different role. There's a neuron anatomy of like the soma, the axon, the myelin sheets, so on and so forth, transfers information. Main parts of brains. Let's also talk about the cerebellum, like this big pink area right here. So it's the front of the brain right there, comprises of like our gray matter, the cerebral cortex, the white matter at the center, and it's the largest part of the brain. And the cerebellum initiates and coordinates movement and regulates temperature. And, like other parts of the cerebellum for speech, judgment, thinking, reasoning, problem solving, emotions, learning, and your senses are also present in there. Like there's a lot to talk about cerebrum, not the cerebellum. I should not have said cerebellum. I'm sorry. Cerebellum is like this green part. This is the cerebrum. Bad on me. Very bad. Cerebrum. I was talking about the cerebrum. And within like the cerebrum, you know what? I'm not gonna go over the whole thing. Just know that I understand most of what this looks like. Uh, and the hypothalamus that they're talking about. God, God. Okay, so it's like you see this dark green thing under the brain, like at the bottom, and then there's like this yellow almond thing. That's a hypothalamus. That's your general region, and it's right above the pituitary gland. And this is where it sends chemical messages that control its function. So this is like stuff that regulates your body temperature, synchronizes sleep patterns, controls hunger and thirst, and also like plays some role in your memory and emotion. Now imagine all of that going on. And what's going on with the junk food that they're talking about is this specific region isn't just responsible for appetite and energy. You got some memory and emotion stuff that's going to be like mucked around with if this region is like too messed up. Sleep patterns also, right? Um so when you eat junk food that's really, really high in fat and sugar, this is what this is saying that it mucks around with this. It disrupts how these work. And they're talking about how to counter these effects is by finding a bacterial strain that has this long name. It's called Bifidobacterium longum, APC 1472, which is from this article, along with prebiotic fibers, so the fructooligosaccharides, FOS, and the galactoligosaccharides, GOS. I'm probably pronouncing it bad because I'm reading it as I see it. So these are present in foods such as onions, garlics, leek, asparagus, bananas, and available in like fortified foods and prebiotic supplements. So they're saying that eating those things potentially helps restore healthy eating patterns, which sounds great, yeah. Um, but what we eat early in life does matter, and the researchers are really giving you like the actual scientific. This is what we're seeing, and like it is interesting to see things like that. Of course, there's always like the potential for the same research to be done and like recreated by other research teams. As long as it's recreated accurately, you can say, yeah, it's accurate in that, depending on who is funding this. Um, so yeah, this has been interesting. This is from University of Colorado. Of course, if I had questions, I would try to find the email. Okay, PhD student, biology, microbiome. Okay, wow, interesting. Very big that this is your PhD paper. Awesome. Okay, I think you're bad at languages. Experts say these 5 myths are. Yeah, we're having a nerd moment. Oh god, I have to. Oh, that's gonna be so funny looking back on this. I'm not gonna remember any of this. I'm not gonna remember telling people about the brain. I'm not even. I wish Kira were here. This is what having ADHD and a science degree. Psychology is a science degree, and this is like regular stuff that we look at, and then I have to monkey hoot while pointing. I'm so glad we're not opening the research gate things because I would look at the tables and point at it and make you all learn with me what this means. You're all going to learn, or else. That's gonna be terrible. The day I do that is the day we all brain melt. Okay, think you're bad at languages. Experts say these 5 myths are to blame. Source the conversation. I need to check on this one actually. Give me a second. Uh, what is the conversation? It was written by researchers. Oh god. Okay, so let me actually like look up the source of that. Materials. Abigail Parrish. I always want to check. I always want to see. Languages education. Okay, definitely. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I always want to check on who is writing these things. Of course, I will do further research, but I do want to make sure that it's not like some random person that's talking about it. Oh god, I'm on that news site. Let me also get the Good News Network. Also like linked to other things. I have a lot of news things because it's fun, it's interesting. Um oh, okay, cool. Nice. Nice. Um oh. Oh. More my chocolate protein bar. Yeah, I have very boring old people habits. Anyways, so hmm, many people avoid learning a new language because they remember stressful grammar lessons or fear making mistakes. Language experts say communication, culture, and connection matter far more than perfection. Modern apps, entertainment, travel, and online communities have made learning easier, more social, and surprisingly fun. So, some of these are kind of true, but like, some of them aren't. Mm, yeah, no, I don't think I want to really read this out loud on stream because, like, this, like, standard things say. Aging cells, la da da, ba da ba. Birth Alzheimer's in mice would break through with nanotechnology. This one says brain's natural cleanup system, specially engineered nanoparticles help clear toxic amyloid proteins from the brain and repair the blood-brain barrier, which normally protects and regulates the brain's environment. Striking experiment, elderly mice treated with therapy later behave like healthy younger mice. Okay, interesting. Cleanup system, 20% of body's energy. I speed read, so if none of you can like catch up, that's perfectly fine. Getting myself to speed read was, like, kind of hard. I'm just gonna, like, put these here because I later save them. Anyways, whatever. It's like, I know you guys are here for... Well, I'm here for the game, but I'm forgetting. So, back to the game we go. But thank you for indulging my silly, moment. Gameland. Yes, back to the game. Now then. People didn't already think I was a nerd. I am definitely a nerd. Or it depends on who's got the reins, so we'll see. Either way, I'm having a great time. Anyways, I already miss Gira, but Gira is off to work, and Gira is already in DM, so, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I like this game a lot. It's very comforting to go wham, 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 wham. Takes up a lot of time. Very, very, happy for my brain, I would say. Get out of there. Get out of there. Please get out of there. There we go. I was also playing Thrifty Business earlier off stream because I like that game a lot. And then I started a new file because I think I maxed out, like, all the story in the other one. So I went, okay, the next file I'm gonna decorate because I'm already established in the file that I started. So I went, okay, what am I gonna do? And then I went, okay, maybe I'll start with the arcade classic. No. Oh, I think the thing is arcade stuff is fine when you have arcade-like things. What's up, Pats? How are you? I'm playing my Gemporium game, and oh, I cracked that. Ooh, I'm gonna ignore what I just did. Where is the other one? Ooh, maybe I extracted it already. No one saw that I broke that. I did not break that. I totally did not break that. Anyways, I just started rambling to myself while I'm on stream, so I've been pretty good. How have you been, Pats? Hope you've been having a good day. Got lots of water, got some rest, got some dinner. I was opening science articles earlier, and then I just started talking about the brain, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. Drop off on this floor. This stuff. I made it every... Oh yeah, Skyrim, that brings back memories. I remember when it first came out and then the arrow to the knee joke happened. Good times. Real good times. Kinda miss it. Though, personally, I missed watching other people play it. But I think it's specifically who was playing it rather than what was being played, so... Maybe I don't necessarily miss playing Skyrim or watching someone play Skyrim. I miss the friends that I watch playing Skyrim. Then again, lots of them are currently married with kids or living their best A-spec life. No, not even having pets. They just travel around and sometimes they go to sleep on the porch. And then I hear about them every once in I guess 14 to 30 business days. Kind of funny. Because they used to be the most social of our group. There we go. I'm getting into the groove of these gem bags. Gem bags. Right, let's see. Where are we going? Right. So... Where was I? I was forgetting something. It'll come back to me in a second. Right, so psychology articles, people talking about the brain. The brain is a very fluid entity that is very, very good at absorbing different experiences in which people are susceptible to. Oh, crack that. I cracked that. Oh, it's crash now. Anyways, I like thinking about the brain, but even before this major, I did a lot of research on it, specifically because I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'd like to know more about it. And then the more I found out, the more I realized how really ignorant anybody and everything, including myself. So there is no predictability within the human condition. It's just like, what is predictable are patterns of social behavior. Groups, but it's kind of like, oh yeah, Skyrim is pretty fun. The game that I made friends in, and these are like friends that kind of carried over into other MMOs until like all of us got too old to play MMOs, was actually a game called Ion. We all played this game called Ion, and then we followed each other into, was this Lith? Or maybe it was like the other way around. I also made friends in MapleStory. MMO friends are very, very... What do I put it? They're like your online childhood friends. Very fun. I think I can definitely say... Trying to like think about how some of them are doing. I think some of them met their partners in MMOs actually, which, you know, low-key as a kid, that sounded very cute to me. A lot of people didn't seem to find that cute in their lives, but I thought it was cute. I was like, oh my gosh, you bonded over mutual interests and then fell in love with more things to be interested in. That's cute. And like, I met some of my buddies that that's like, we ended up doing some work and jobs together. Again, most of my friends that I kept the longest were from fanfiction days. We were forum buddies. And I still have my forum buddy friends. They're interesting people. I will say that. But because we're all kind of, like, older, we have a lot less tolerance for things. We used to have a lot more during my DeviantArt days. Thinking about it, huh. I did not really retain a lot of my DeviantArt friends. Then again, I think it's just more of a matter of, how well you get along, and I think I just had beef with the art community of DeviantArt. It was strange. Not sure how else to put it. There were too many values that didn't quite sync. I guess that's just what I get for it's stuff to think about. It's stuff to think about for me. I will admit, I had a really great time. Don't remember much of the drama anymore. I mean, give or take, I think it's been more than 10 years for half of that. I really don't retain it anymore. But I think that's because at the request of my partner, it's like, they want more stuff to remember between us, and because they've been giving me a lot of great experiences, it's very, very hard to retain, like, the viscerally bad experiences I've had, so, like, maybe I'll look for my old journals and find it, and then we can read and have a laugh about it. But otherwise, I think it's just kind of like, sleeping dogs lie. Let them lie. Now, what was I going on about? Oh, my back is... What time is it? Where's my other friend? My... Damn. Okay. One day I will have a house that is big enough to support at least one of my partners for a visit. And my housemate. Dream of getting a house instead of psyching myself out and saying that it's not possible. I will make that possible, I don't care. There is a very good reason why I'm now struggling over, education, even though, like, currently graduated, but back into the job market and not staying a freelancer and then retiring with the money I have as a solo. I would like to not be lonely in the last phases of my life. That means setting up a environment with friends, with higher difficulty economic area, then so be it. I accept that. I have a very long life to live. Probably. I'll get to it. I know some people are like, enjoy the life you got now, and I'm just... I would like to enjoy it later as well. Had sufficient amount of time for fun. Oh, yeah, no, don't worry. I was just kind of like rambling on and on about stuff because today is ramble moment where I believe I'm a train of thought. So it's been like, yes, reminiscing about things that I don't remember. So it's just kind of like, yeah, very fun. Trying to remember what it was. Well, at least those ads are short. They're the shortest I could possibly make it. I decided that for this channel, because it's for fun, but I also like having ads on there anyways, it'll be the shortest time. So it's kind of like, yay, yippee. Let's see this. Okay, so 10 goes in there. Hey, wow, I have never been to this part of the mines. And I just recently unlocked it, so not surprising. There we go. Wow, I should get a stronger hammer. This is less speedy. There you go. And I will possibly crack broken off. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah. Like, I have modes in which I love rambling, and I have modes in which I do not love rambling, and quite a few of my streams are just me being really quiet, which I don't think a lot of people mind. Oh my gosh, why is my mouse doing this? Do that to me. There we go. May need to change the battery on this mouse. But I've been too lazy to go out and get those batteries. Oh, there's a diamond here? I should totally get it. Come on, come on, come out. Come out, come out. There we go. Perfect. Oh. No, not the diamond. Oh man. Dumb. Oh well. Fine. At least I'm at the lower areas where a lot of very, very, very expensive stuff comes out. So, I accept that. And should be more careful. I should also upgrade my grill. I will probably eat very soon, though. It's like, what? 10 p.m. for me. I was gonna code Ren'Py or like at least have my co-working app because I'm always on that co-working app. But I need to stop that. I have a drill for a reason. Kira was here earlier saying you have a drill, and I'm like, yeah, I have a drill. I'm so smart. I'm so intelligent. Oh yes. What was I doing? Right, here we go. Here we are. I just really like the game in which I smack rocks. It's probably bismuth. Not about to. There we go. Good thing I upgraded this drill quite a bit, otherwise I would have been suffering. Big suffering. I don't want a big suffer. But yeah, this game is very fun. I love being a mole that dig rock. Lots of rock digging. Very fun to rock dig. Probably, maybe... Onyx, there's a ruby. I don't think the onyx is worth it, but the ruby sure is. See. Now. Gotta love the experience of being, a not rock digging creature, though. Like, this is good enough. Oh, there's opal here? Wow. Expensive. Very expensive. Ooh. Mess this up for me. Beautiful. Awesome. Alright, let's see. Goes down. Is there any more shinies? Yes, there are. There are many, many shinies. Diamond. Okay, this time I can do this diamond then, and I can sacrifice whatever other diamond. Yeah, I would say it's more of the diamond and pearl fossil game. You know, in Pokemon, they had this underground area where you had to, like, dig, because this was the minigame that was basically what I was aiming for. I went, oh yeah, Stardew Valley, I wouldn't really say this is like Stardew Valley on the basis that I just remember mining, and I would be like, okay, but I wouldn't have to excavate and dig out rocks in this manner. I just remember getting lots of other rocks. I'm like, oh, wow. I do like the nice, relaxing music, though. Very cozy, very nice. It actually lets me ramble because a lot of other games that I play, sometimes it just takes up way too much of my brain space. And I'm like, oh, I can't talk about anything. I'm just gonna quiet play, and sometimes people just are here for the gameplay. Sometimes people are not here for the gameplay. It's just Cocomelon in the background, like podcasts. Just like, yay, yippee, as long as I'm just hanging out. Because me streaming means that all my friends are asleep, and I have the urge to maybe social, maybe it's not necessarily be social, maybe it's just simply to, I don't know, just kind of like hang out, chill, have a recording, and then not remember what I said. Thankfully, I don't do streams at 3 a.m. I say some darn things at 3 a.m. Like, really crazy things at 3 a.m., actually. One time I told people that, people who are rabbit-coded are actually conspiracy theorists at heart, and they have some of the strangest takes because they're conspiracy theorists. And that if given the chance to become a rabbit, they would breed a bunny and put it in, like, cafe mocha or something. I don't know. I said like some weird stuff and my friends recorded me, and then I was like, who is this? Who said this? And then it turns out it was me. So I went. And I went, oh no. Oh. And then I think at one point I was tired enough, so because I don't drink, to how weak my liver is, and I say this in the kindest way, it's not, I don't really get buzzed, I just feel pain. Like, hangover pain. It's just, I instantly metabolize it, it's that bad. And I go, I don't really want to drink, because I have the buzz. I can drink some of it with cheese and maybe some steak, but it's definitely something that I no longer indulge in. I used to be able to. Now I just don't. I just don't enjoy the sensation of it, and, like, the taste is okay, but... Yeah, no. No, I can't. So, whenever people think, oh, you can't drink, does that mean that you're lightweight? No. It just means that I'm in pain. It just means I'm in pain. Which isn't very fun. Like, yeah, no. What was I gonna say? Well, the equivalent of that is me being, I guess, sleep-deprived. And when I am sleep-deprived, I say things. I say things like I am ready to fight a whole army about opinions that, when I wake up, I don't believe in. I'm just like, who said this? Who is this? I don't recognize this person. This is like a completely different entity talking. Oh gosh, my mouse. Please, please stop that. Mouse has been acting up. It has been irritating me. No end. Oh well. To make and food. Oh well. There it is. There are 2 emeralds on that level. Oh. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna put that. Alright, recently I've been keeping track of horror farming games, and the thing about me in farming games is I'm not a big fan of 3D ones. I definitely know why. It's because the 3D ones tend to put in like head bobbing and things that make me motion sick, and when you're in a farming game doing a lot of repetitive tasks many times, that's not really fun for me. It makes doing anything long-term extremely unpleasant. But in pixel farming, at least there's not too many motion sick moments, so I go, okay, yeah. Anyways, there are some horror farming games that are coming out, I believe this year, and they have, some of them have hours longs of demos. Like, I think one of them is Elderfield. It's a horror farming game. Neverway is coming out in December. I believe the pixel artist for Celeste is working on that one. So I played the demo for that, and I think that was the day that stream just didn't catch any of that demo, which was tragic and hilarious. When the full thing comes out, I would play it again, because I do like the systems they input, as well as some stuff on mental health, but I think when it comes to mental health, I have middling feelings about how people enact it, because, sometimes I feel like commentary on mental health should come with the caveat of, like, yeah, you can talk about the struggles someone has, but due to the nature of mental health in itself, I think there does need to be some room for hope. Otherwise, for telling people that once you have this condition, you're worked for life. And, you know, I think, like, for such a sensitive topic like that, when you're leading people down into that area, it's just like, is this really a thing for the people who have that condition, or is it for the people who don't have the condition to be entertained? So that's stuff I think about very often of, is this really for the people it's talking about? Or is this for the people who don't have that experience but would like to vicariously live that? And it's an interesting, like, way. Also, oh, yeah. Like, you know, I like being around my friends who drink. I truly do, because some of them are hilariously social, but I end up being designated driver for everybody. And I like that role with some pride, because that just means that everyone kind of trusts me to sleep to get them home. No accidents, you know? No accidents, no one's dying, no one is going to get... If they get sick in my car, though, that's... I have a bag for it. They all know where the bag is. I have a very easy, accessible paper bag in the back seat. And I do make sure not to, like, speed through and road rage. I can tell when one of them is about to upchuck. Which means that, you know, it also means, if my friends are sleepy too, they could just leave that to me. Very fun friends. We used to party quite a bit, though. That is definitely a long time ago. Ooh, has been a while. I do think it's a shame. I used to socialize quite a bit when we went partying in college, not necessarily for dating, because I think around that time, I was either interested in this girl who already had someone, I was interested in my other bestie, who was way older than me, and was gay, so, you know, I was just not his type, even if he were the case. I just wasn't. And I think at the time I was also dating someone. I can't quite put the timelines together. The timelines are getting very blurred now. So, a lot of stuff has changed in my life. Which, I wish I could remember it all that clearly, but I guess I don't. There is a lot of rare stuff here. Not the emerald, not the emerald. We're not getting that emerald. We have plenty of emerald. Ah. I have to really think about. I didn't realize how late the stream audio was, but that's okay. Da 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 da. Let's see. There is. Do I have to replace the batteries already? No, I don't want to do that. Give me a moment. I'm going to replace this. Noisemeister. The whole crap. Dog that looks. That's my fur cousin. Oh yeah. Take your time. Have fun. Yes, the mouse definitely works. It was definitely a battery issue. Where is it? Here it is. Alright. Oh, it wasn't a battery issue, it was a sensitivity on the mouse issue. Great. Wonderful. Awesome. Pew, pew. To the bottom of the mines. I have made it to the bottom. At least we are at the bottom of the mines. I didn't have to go up once to drop off any. Oh, convenient, but also, oh my goodness. Now then. Oh. I love this. I should also play my other gardening game, but I have not opened that game in a hot second. There is a 3D gardening game. It does make me a little motion sick, but I do enjoy it. Aesthetic-wise, though, I do, in fact, quite enjoy with flowers. I know that I use sunflowers as a general motif. I think that was, like, my recovering flower. I liked how sunflowers looked, and I liked the message behind them, but then at one point, I realized that my favorite flower are hydrangeas, actually. I really like hydrangeas. And it might just be one of those tale as old as back when I was into more constellation stuff. When I was into constellation stuff, I was like, water, because my sign is a water sign. So I went, okay, water sign. Water everything. I want to talk about fish. I want to think about fish. I like fish. I want to keep fish. Code, actually. Except for mermaid. I don't really like mermaids. I think conceptually they're neat. I just don't know if I like them. They're not really my thing. That's amore. There you go. There it is. Beautiful. Lovely. Amazing. 10 out of 10. Chef's kiss. Truly, the memories of, a time. Mm-hmm. There we go. Ooh. Lots of rare rocks, though, in this level, so I'll take it. Da-da-da-da-da. Right, I was supposed to look over the artifacts. Okay, selling price of rare and epic gems. Triple, okay. Oh, I see. I have done so good. Alright. Of that. Nope, just gems. Okay. Smith. Pity that the diamond is like this. Kind of sad about it, but I'll accept that. It's fine. Well, we're gonna see if I can either spend several days paying off the aggressive debt that Meemaw made, or we all just kind of watch me struggle with it forever. It's fine. I do want to go back to game dev. I miss game dev. Already, I miss it. Oh. This minigame is actually fun for me. Well, at least the wiping one. It's crazy how many rare stuff I got, though. Oh, gosh. I was, playing a bunch of visual novels recently, too, to also take a break from these types of games, because I just wanted to read. And I was also reading Crying in H Mart, which, very good book, but also I was like, that one always hurts. That one kind of hurts. I love getting recommendations of books from people that I know, and then I like reading them. So finding the time to read them for leisure is a very different thing. I don't really read self-help books. I used to, but then I came to the realization that I just think at the point in time of my life, especially if I'm susceptible to like other people's opinions, I'm going to end up taking the worst from it. Because it'll be like, oh, I should attribute this success to like my potential thing, and the problem is that sometimes people are not compatible with other people's mode of success, so sometimes I'm just like, I gotta avoid some of those books, because right now I'm still trying to find my journey, and sometimes self-help books can get in the way of that, because it implies that you're a reliable enough person, direction to follow through with like some of the advice there. Like, it's great to read them as this is someone else's experience, and if you would like to take certain parts of it to your own, that's great, but there's always a risk of people taking those books and going in the direction of, I haven't done this, why am I not like this, and then self-flagellating, and that can be very damaging. It's like, oh, no. Like those rock tumblers, and like much. Finding that I like a lot of things in a weirdly positive way. Not that I'm any much more of an optimist than I'm a pessimist. I just think there's a lot more things to like now. I talk about things I don't like, I talk about things I like. Balance in my life. I get one free tick. Right. Put a sapphire in there. More. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. Oh. I'm gonna spend a while doing this. Yeah, I've gone through, and then maybe I don't have to go down there for a while. Yeah, I've definitely gotten a lot of rocks from my journey there. I could organize these. Oh, maybe. Do that. Oh. I like to think about colors. No, I didn't always start liking the color. I think one time, I saw in a notebook that it said, yeah, this Egyptian green is the most relaxing color, and then after that, it was this specific, like, kind of cool tone green that I fell in love with. and kind of retain, but it wasn't my favorite because at the time I had this mental state in which I was like, oh yeah, I should retain, liking red because that suits me the best, right? That wasn't very healthy, unfortunately. How interesting when we think about all the things that we go through. Anyways, eventually, after a time, I felt less obligated to keep up the I should be red because someone else was. I wasn't that I wasn't allowed to like blue. Strange to have an overlapping favorite. For some reason, like a compliment thing. Kind of resignation of, yeah, I'm gonna be this. Fully just... I don't know what to call it, actually. Self-imposed psychological stuff going on. Messy things. Very messy. Either way, I really sat to think about, like, my identity after a whole, like, big scare of who am I, am I really not what I say I was. I came to realize I think I just like the color green. It's the little things like that. Well, I started wearing more green things, and then I felt more relaxed, and then just in general, felt the need to, oh, I should retain her. Because there were people from that time period that nervous. Again, that's probably on me. Probably, maybe, who knows. Didn't have a lot of confidence. But I think, considering the end result, understandably so. Either way, green makes me feel very relaxed. It makes me feel tense, like I have an obligation to be the villain in a situation. Complicated dynamics that are rather unnecessary when it comes to color. Interestingly enough, I found that I'm a less... fascinating, really. Very, fascinating. Argue with myself. Back to value, rhodolite. This is like turn off levels of relaxing. I am not gonna remember anything I say on this stream, am I? Guess it's not so bad. But I am starting to feel like I am a certain giraffe on two. Wine. This is like what it feels like to be a wife guy. But I also am very, I don't know how to feel about wife guys, I think. I think some of them are okay, but not my type. Like, at all. If I really think about it. How do I put it? I think in the very beginning, I never really was until... They have this thing that I'm not a super big fan of, where, a lot of their personalities are to be the quote-unquote harmless gold retrievers to one woman. Fun in fiction, marginally less fun in person. I like reading about them because they're interesting, but when it comes down to who takes the blame for, like, two people's things, it always ends up being the wife. The guy doesn't really shield her. Because I see a lot of wife guys that are actually wimps. And it's kind of like... feels like that's not what I expect from they say they are. How do I put this? Maybe it's not necessarily just wife guy, but like the wimp guy that thinks he's the wife guy. One that doesn't want to take ownership over any of his, actions. Goes, well, my wife doesn't like you, so thus I don't like you, and then when a breakup happens, they end up blaming, like, the wife or the ex-wife, which is kind of like, so... who had zero intention of taking any responsibility for the decisions you've made. So, I think, like, in that sense, it rubs me the wrong way. Because that's not necessarily what I... It kind of feels lonely if you're the wife, you know? There's only so much you can fight against. And I think, like, the opposite is also true. There are, like, dudes that end up taking the reins in a relationship. A girl that ends up not wanting to take any responsibility for what she says and does. So she decides to leave it on the guy, so if anything were to, like, happen, blame the guy for being manipulative and stuff, and I'm just kind of like... There's a difference between manipulators seeking it out and people who are very big fans of being in the victim position narrative. Outspoken individuals who are not really manipulators but think they're doing the right thing, and you end up with a really toxic dynamic. Incredibly so. Life is crazy. There's always room for nuance, but I think what I like to pay attention to is that the overall story. Not the general thing on it. Why is it so prevalent? It's not... say the exception exists because yada yada. I know it exists. Not a skill issue on my part. It's a skill issue on a lot of other people. However, I think it is important to also talk about the general, like, oh yeah, the vibes. I think I'm just offended because recently one of my friends just... I have a lot of friends, so every time I say friends, it's like, which one? And I'm just like, I'm not gonna tell any of you guys the specific names. Because even, like, some of my friends don't really want their names presented in public, but they don't mind me, like, talking about this stuff. Because they know I stream. They know I stream. Not really much of a Twitch watcher, though. Watch the YouTube videos. A lot of them are not very keen on Twitch. Like, yeah, that's fair. Kinda curse. Also, like, your kids listening to me curse on stream. Yeah, no, I would like to have that separate. Thank you very much. We've had discussions about their kids. Lovely children. They're my oath kids. Well, oath kids because many of them are agnostic and don't want to say godchild, which I totally understand and respect, and will find to respect. Anyways, time to sell the jewels, and then after this day, I think I'm gonna close up stream. Maybe, like, have a couple of days. It would be fun to see how much is selling. Just 3 times. Goodbye type. Oh, where's the oh. Dang, that is way too much. Quartz. Oh, quartz. So cheap. At least it's like a lot. I didn't. I convince you to get that. Yeah, there you go. Take my cracked diamond. Morganite, Morganite, Morganite. There you go. Okay, this way, yes. Opal! Well, you're in luck, my dear. Wow, that's quite a bit. Alright. Goliath Road. 3. Have a lot of each. I definitely know we have a lot of each. That is... See. Axe me, axe me. Character sleep, and then have another day, another... Yes, yes, I know. Market prediction, we got Ruby. Okay. Odd. Got Sapphire. Being Sapphire just makes me think about the Pokemon games. Quartz, quartz, quartz. Where is the quartz? There you are. Citrine, citrine. There you are. I like that they're getting it at triple now, so I accept that. Thank you for being Gem of... zoning out. That is definitely time for me to go eat very soon. Alright, Rodolite, Rodolite, Rodolite. Morganite. Let's see. No, gems look like they would be tasty to shove into my mouth. I would like to shove some gems into my mouth and store them. Oh, that's quite a bit of money that is made. Okay. I wanna see. I buy with this. Real? Say one more shop day. Oh, bats. Yep, plenty of that. actually astounding. Right, let's see. Fire. You know, I also can't look at the name Peridot the same after Steven Universe. About it. God. Huh. Well, of course. Sapphire time. Lovely. We have it? Yes, we do. Many? We have a lot of it. A lot of it. Lots of gems that I personally refined and struggled. Always that. Thanks. Not haggling specifically, like... I have so much of it, I need to get rid of it. Let's see. Maxed out. Bag. Step to stepped. Ooh, fifth. I've hit a minimum. Be very hard. I have this game saved, and then I'll probably stream. Today has been an interesting stream. We have gone over gems. We have looked at science articles, which I haven't done on here. Yeah, it's a fun time. So, thanks for joining me during Gemporium. And I'm gonna see if any of my friends are streaming. If we are, I'm gonna send you to, or maybe like someone that I think you guys watch. Who knows? Okay, let's start that. Let's see if I can have you guys raid another person. Dashboard. How long has it been since I've done that? That is not what I wanted to do. Ugh. Okay, but also it's been hours. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see rating. That. Anyways, thanks for sticking around. Fun. Care.